5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to Two Fandom Friends, the not so stereotypical nerd podcast. I am your host Salva, and joining me as always is Chantal.
Hello.
What is up? We totally did not record two in one day. We're gonna pretend like we had a whole week. So how was your week?
Amazing. Midterms are over when this is
Yay.
released. So yay.
Woo!
Woo.
We're gonna pretend like I had a fantastic week as well. I'm manifesting it.
I'm manifesting a good week for myself as well.
Yes, we're manifesting good weeks.
I don't think we said last episode we were going to be watching for this one. So,
did we not?
for everybody, because we never said. No, we didn't. We're watching Moon Knight. So we're going to do so one episode of Moon Knight equals one episode in this podcast. So today we're going to be reviewing the first episode of Moon Knight.
So you have 6 weeks. You have 6 weeks to watch the whole season.
Yeah.
There are 6 episodes, right? Or are they 8?
Yes.
6, okay.
No, I think there's 6.
Okay. 6 episodes to watch the whole episode. If you have not watched episode 1, this is your chance to pause this, watch episode 1, come back, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
My cat's trying to get into my room.
I don't.
I can hear her scratching on the door.
I don't hear it, so.
Anyways, she's gonna stay outside. It's fine. So we really don't have updates because we are recording 2 episodes in one day.
We are. Yeah.
Yes, we have no updates.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just get into it.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait,
spoilers. Hold on. Spoilers.
We did that already.
Did we? No, we didn't.
Yeah.
Spoilers
Yes,
for Moon Knight.
No, I did it already.
Spoiler alert, you have been warned.
Oh, did you?
Yes. Like a while ago. It's been like 7 years.
Okay.
Yes, I did do spoilers already.
Okay, go ahead.
I have to say, Steven is my all-time favorite character in the entire... Okay, I shouldn't say the entire Marvel universe, but...
He's up there. He's top 3.
He's definitely up there. Because I love him.
Yeah, Steven is life. Steven is Bae. Steven is... the man that you always wish you had in your life.
Exactly. Like, okay, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about this, but I feel so bad for him throughout this entire episode because so much happens to him in this episode.
He has no idea. He's so
like,
clueless about everything.
I literally sat there and cried at the part where he went to go for his date and then he found out it was actually Sunday and not Friday. I literally cried. She was like, "Oh, you asshole. Like, I hate you," which I get because it's been like 2 days and she hasn't heard from
I get that. Yeah, from her perspective.
I felt so bad for him because he was so heartbroken. He was like, "No, it's Friday. It's not Sunday."
He even asked the waiter. He's like, "What day is it?"
And the waiter was like, "Yeah, it's Sunday." And then like, I find it so sad when he's like, "Okay, I will get a steak," and the waiter's like, "Oh, I see." And I'm like, no, the waiter understands and the waiter feels bad for him. And
so sad.
I feel bad for him. And yeah, I cried.
So, first of all, can we talk about that opening scene? I know you don't like it. I know, but we got to talk about it.
Can we skip? Can I fast forward, please? Because I hate it so much. I actually.
Who in their right mind would do that? Just
I left
glass in their
room when that played. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, it's on Disney Plus. Disney Plus is a great thing called Group Watch. Me and Salva did a group watch for.
We did, yes.
I actually got up and left the room because I hate it so much. I hate it so much. I hate it. I can't.
So I mean, obviously we've seen it before. We were watching it when it first dropped, episode by episode. But watching it again, like it, I forgot that it was a thing in the episode. So
Yep.
it was a very interesting way to start the show because
I did not like it. I thought there was better ways that they could have started it, honestly.
because it gets you thinking, like, what is wrong with this character?
But-
and you don't really see him, you don't really realize that he's, I guess, the main villain until later on in the episode, but it still gets you thinking, like, something's wrong with this character.
No, that's not what I thought at all.
What did you think? Okay, go ahead.
I thought this is stupid, and they never bring this up again, ever, throughout the entire show. They never once bring this up again.
Okay, we'll get to it later on, but
So-
you hear whenever he steps, you hear the glass in his foot. It is
Yeah, but they don't bring it up. They don't give a reason for it.
We'll see. I have to rewatch the show, and then I feel like there is something that he mentioned about, like,
No, he,
living
like-
through pain or something.
Okay, he might have mentioned something like that, but it's still stupid because it makes no sense for the story. I honestly
That's
feel
true.
no sense for the story. It did not need to be there. They don't really bring it up other than in like a 2-second quick line in passing. They absolutely did not need for this scene to be in there other than to traumatize their audience. Because, like, I literally cannot watch this scene. I get up and walk away. I fast forward if I'm not doing a group watch. If I'm doing a group watch, I get up and walk away. And it does not change anything for the setup of this entire show.
That's fair. I'll give it to you. Yeah. And then we immediately get into Steven, who is in his flat in
Poor
London.
Steven. I love
And
him.
he's chained to his bed, and has tape on the door. And you feel bad because, like,
Yeah.
and like, even the look of him, he looks like he hasn't been sleeping
Looks
at all.
tired. Yeah.
It's very tired, but he still has this, like, chipper mood, like, oh yeah, I had the greatest night ever. I stayed in bed this time, like, but he has no idea.
And he has all this hope, like when he walks into the museum and he sees that little girl, and he kind of tells her a little bit about, like, the mummies, because she's like, oh, there's nothing in the pyramids, so who cares about them? And he's like, well, there's actually these mummies, and there's, like, here's what these mummies are about. And then the gift shop person's like, you're not going to become a tour guide. And I'm like, I would love for him to be my tour guide, take me around the museum,
would
tell me
love
all
it. You
about the
can
Egyptian
tell
stuff. Like,
He's
it's
very
amazing.
passionate about ancient Egypt, and very knowledgeable. Like, he doesn't come across as, like, this smart character, but he's very smart.
He's extremely smart.
He's very intelligent, and I think just the way his mannerisms and the way that people portray him, people don't think that he is. So it makes you feel so bad for the character too, because you, as the audience, you see, like, he's actually a really smart character,
And
but
did you notice
everyone around him is putting him down.
and they all brush him off, like when he walked in, like, I mean, after a lot of stuff happens, he walks in, he goes up to the security guard, and he's like, yo, like, somebody's freaking following me, I'm scared, don't let like anybody suspicious in. The security guard's like, whatever, I don't care, you're not, like, really important, so it's like everybody just kind of brushes him off. Even the, like, gift shop lady, like, he was like, because even when he's talking about the Ennead,
Yeah.
right, and I'm 100% sure I pronounced that wrong, but he talks about their marketing campaign, and he's like, there's only 7 on here, but there's 9.
Can I
Some-
just say, as
I
a
know you're
marketer,
but, like,
we would do our research before doing that.
but still, people make mistakes, especially
People
if
do.
you're not, if you're not in that field, because there are, as someone who's in history, there are a lot of things
As someone who's
you
in
have to
marketing,
dig.
I would rely on the people who are in history to give me that information. So if
Yeah,
they don't give
but
me the information, I'm just going to assume whatever they give me is what it is.
yeah, but the thing is, like, there's certain things. I mean, not necessarily this, because this is a big, like he said, it's a big blunder. But there are some things that you do have to dig to find out. But those are like usually very nitpicky details.
Mhm.
But I did find it very telling about how the world treats him when he very much straight up said to her, "This is wrong. You're missing two of the major gods of the Ennead." And she was like, "Whatever, that's not your job. Get back to work. Your only job is to sell these little like sweets or these little stuffed animals or
It's
these
so
trinkets or
sad. I
whatever."
feel so bad for him.
And it's like, Stephen deserves better.
He does. He deserves so much more. I really don't know. Oh, and like just like the whole date thing, he was so excited to go on it. He was even talking to the statue man in the park
Yes,
about
and he was like, "I don't know how it happened, but I'm going on a date, and I'm gonna like do my best." And like, oh, it's so sweet, but it's so
like it,
sad.
he was so excited to go on the date and very much looking forward to it, like talking to his mom on the phone, like, like maybe I'll bring her around, I'm so excited, but and
Yeah.
then stuff happens.
And then, oh my God, even sadder after the date when he throws like the flowers out and he's talking to his mom. He's like, "Yeah, wait, maybe I'll bring her around, blah blah blah." Like he went off about how great his date was because he didn't want to disappoint his mom, which is sad. And we'll get into that later in other episodes. It's been like a reoccurring theme.
Yeah. Also, this episode, and you see it throughout the whole show, a lot of imagery of mirrors and like reflections and all that. I think they made very good use of it.
They did. They for sure did. Like, especially use mirrors as a way for Steven to see his other self, which is Mark, which we kind of started seeing in the beginning of this episode, but we really saw it at the end when he was being chased by that, I don't know what it was, that creature.
The dog thingy.
So like Mark was like standing in the mirror and was very much like, "Hey, give me control of the body. I need control of the body so that I can get us out of this."
Also,
And
the whole when he's in, I don't remember what country, maybe Germany, when he's in that other country.
oh, it seemed Dutch to me.
Dutch, okay.
It seemed like, I thought it was like, I honestly don't know. It seemed like Denmark. I don't know. Somewhere not here.
Yeah. So he was in that and he was escaping, and the whole back and forth between the two personalities, and oh my God, we're gonna mess up the name again. Kushnu?
No.
Oh my God, we're messing it up.
Isn't it Khonshu?
Khonshu, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Mess it up again. Okay. Khonshu is like saying like, give him back the body, and all that. And the whole back and forth. And then the scene where it's back at Steven and he has the gun in his hand and he just throws it out the window.
He throws it and he goes, "Oh, the idiot threw the gun." Or did he just throw the gun? Like, and I like how he keeps calling Steven the idiot when Steven is actually, like, in my opinion, I mean, we see this a lot more in later episodes, but
for sure,
he's smarter than Mark. Mark has better, like, not really
Mark's
skills.
The
he has more, like, he has more applicable skills to the current situation, but Steven is definitely has more brains towards the current situation.
Yeah. So I mean,
like that whole scene where Steven is really confused because he woke up in this strange place, and
I would be too.
And Khonshu is like being like, "The idiot's back," and Steven's like, "Whoa, who's talking to me?" And like they keep taking over the body to get him out of the situation. But the way that they showed action without actually showing action, I thought was very clever. Where we only see Steven's perspective of
Only
so
Steven.
we don't see Mark beating people up and all that stuff. We only see what Steven sees. So
We don't
every
even
time
hear Mark's voice. We don't hear
No.
Mark's voice until we're
Until
in
the
the
end.
apartment. No, even in the apartment when he's looking through the mirror and he's like, and he found the phone, and he hears Mark's voice like, "Don't do it, Steven. Don't, whatever you're thinking, don't do it." That was the first time we heard Mark, and then we actually see him at the end when they're in the bathroom, and the dog demon thing comes and attacks them.
yeah, exactly. But like,
I like the fact that they kept even the audience in the dark about what was going on.
Yeah, I really, really like the way that we only saw, like, up to this point, we're only seeing what Steven's seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think even with the way that they use mirrors to portray this, we're very much only seeing Steven's image.
Yeah.
We're not seeing Mark yet. And
not until the very end of the episode.
If you've read, spoilers if you've read the comics, but there may be more than just the two of them in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we've already got three
at least three.
Mark, one body. Mark,
Steven,
and
Khonshu.
So that's a lot of people to be in one body.
Already.
It's got to be a little overwhelming. I mean, I don't know.
Because you kind of question, like, is there more? Are we going to see more? Like, what's gonna happen?
And like, it's a very good and interesting concept to run with for a superhero.
Because it definitely goes into the whole mental health of people.
Yeah, so I think I've mentioned this to you before, but when Steven mentions that there's only 7 of the Ennead on the marketing campaign and there's 9, I've never actually taken a look, but are the 2 that are missing Khonshu and Amit? Because those are the only 2 gods that we really have a good. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not an Egyptian historian. Sorry, guys. I don't know great detail about Egyptian history.
You know enough to get by.
The mythology. Yeah. So I don't actually know who the 9 gods in the Ennead are. So I always wonder, like, I can never get a good enough image of that to see which 2 are missing.
Maybe we'll do this is our little homework for next week.
We'll try to figure this out.
Yeah, and then we'll give you guys an update.
Because if that is true, that's a very interesting detail to put in.
Yeah, like it's definitely foreshadowing for future episodes.
Yeah, for sure.
What else happened in this episode?
I found this like so cute, the fact that he takes care of his fish like religiously, and then he comes back and the fish has a fin. Like, the fish was originally a 1-fin fish. He comes back, this fish has 2 fins now, and he goes to the pet store, and he's like, or the fish store or whatever, and he's like, what the hell? Like,
what happened?
How does a fish grow 2 fins? And this is kind of what starts cluing Steven in on everything that's happening. Because she's like, I told you yesterday, I don't sell fish that have 1 fin. And he's like, I wasn't here yesterday. So this is kind of what I feel like really launches him into realizing that maybe these things that he thought were dreams weren't dreams, that they're actually happening. And that his, like, because like he wakes up and he's still tied to his bed and he's like, okay, like, that was just a dream.
He literally thought that whole thing in the other country was a dream. Because he woke up and he was already tied to the bed. So he was like, okay, like, it was a dream.
Yeah. So, like, it's very interesting that this is, like, kind of what's starting him to go on this journey of realizing that things are happening. That it's not just, these things aren't just dreaming. Like, he's not just dreaming. These aren't just dreams. And then also, like, in my personal opinion, I hated the fact that he put sand around his bed, because I don't know if you notice. So he tapes his door up so that he can see if he gets up and leaves. He puts sand around his bed, right, to see if he gets up and walks.
Mm-hmm.
But he's able to step onto the bed without stepping onto the sand. So why can't he step off of the bed without stepping on the sand? You know what I mean? Like, even if you're sleepwalking,
Mm-hmm.
you could still do that if you're able to step onto the bed without touching the
I
sand.
don't know. Maybe it was just like his.
It's just something that I noticed that I was like, Steven, my guy, come on. There's got to be a
You're smarter than this. Let's go.
Put up a camera. Put up a Ring camera. Come on, man. Dude.
Yeah. Let's talk about Harlow.
Okay, I guess. Yeah.
So he obviously is the bad guy. He thinks he definitely comes across as this like Messiah type character. Like, I'm going to make everyone better, and I'm going to like create this whole world to make it all better for everyone, when in reality he's really just like, you're not good enough, you're dead. You're good, you stay alive. You're not good enough, you're dead. You know, like he's that character, right and wrong. So I think that's a good, it's a good villain to be against Moon Knight, because Moon Knight is battling between the two personalities, the two different people.
I do have to say, even though the show was called Moon Knight, he calls himself, I don't think he calls himself Moon Knight. Ever.
I don't think he did. Well, okay, maybe we'll watch through it and we'll see if we actually do hear it.
So yeah, I think it's very weird that the show is called Moon Knight, but he never calls himself that.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But yeah, like I agree with that. Like, it is Harlow is a good villain for him, especially because like it seems like his whole motivation is surrounding gods, the Egyptian gods, and want to bring back it to be able to give his judgment on people that he feels deserve to be judged.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's it. Unless you have any other thoughts.
Motivation. Yeah, but it's like, okay, so let's just talk about Harlow for a minute.
Okay.
Because I have many feelings about this character.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, a lot of these
come from.
Yeah, okay. A lot of these feelings come from having watched the whole show. But I feel like,
but try to restrict it to episode 1.
I am. Don't worry. But I feel like a lot of like this entire villain could have been better. he could have had better motivations. Like, I mean, right from episode 1, he's like, I just want to judge everyone because everybody deserves to be judged because people are terrible. That's not really a motivation. I mean, it kind of is, but it's not very personal.
Really technically see. Yeah, you don't really technically see his motivation until later on, but even then
it's questionable. I'm like, how is this how is this personal to you specifically? It, like, I never really got that sense, you know?
Maybe in this rewatch
maybe in the rewatch I'll see it, but so far I'm very
it
much
is only episode 1,
and this, like, up to this point, this villain seems very bland, in my opinion.
So far, we're watching it, so we'll see how it goes. For
myself, I mean, even later on, knowing what happens, I still feel like this villain's kind of bland. They could have made him a little bit more dynamic. But so far he seems very.
But I think with Marvel, that's the issue with a lot of their villains. They're very one-page type villains. Yes. The only ones that really got, the one that I can really think of is Loki. Like, he was a very well-developed character.
And Scarlet Witch, because she started off as a hero, and then later on kind of started this journey to become kind of like an anti-hero / villain type
Yeah.
character.
So, and I would even say the Winter Soldier. I think those three characters are the only ones that were villains that are more developed, and we get to see, like, we see two sides of the characters. You know what I mean? Every other villain that we've seen in the MCU, we just see the one side. We don't really understand like what their whole motivation is. They're very like, I'm just here to be the villain to make the hero shine.
Even when they do show their motivations, it's usually something that's very, in my opinion, stupid. It's not something that I'm like, okay, this would make me want to take over the entire galaxy or the world or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like they could have worked better on this villain, but
especially now, like I kind of get it with the movies, but now that they're doing shows, you have the time. You have the time to create these villains to be more interesting.
I would say the only, for myself at least, the only interesting thing about this character, Harlow, is the fact that he has the scales and he can weigh people's destiny.
That's all like, I know so far. Yeah.
And well, he did that to Mark. And Mark's like, just didn't balance. They were in such chaos that they would not show.
Which, I mean, we've already seen the show. We've already seen the show, but later on we see that again.
We do. And like, it just, other than that, it feels like the villain is only there to be the villain and to just show that the world's unbalanced. That's all I got from him.
Okay.
Ratings,
I would say episode 1 a 7.
A 7,
and it's mostly because of Steven. It's still early on.
I'm gonna say a 7 as well, because even though I love this show overall, this is the introductory episode. This is episode 1. Not like, it sets up a lot. A lot does happen, but at the same time, a lot doesn't happen, if that makes sense.
For sure. So, I forgot these episodes were like an hour long.
They are. They're very long. So like, considering how long this episode was, not a lot happened. It did set up a lot of the story. A lot of the story did get set up, but not a lot overall happened. So yeah, I would agree with that. I would say a 7.
Yeah.
I would say a 7.
Okay. Let us know in the comments below what you guys think. Next week we are obviously going to be talking about episode 2 of Moon Knight. So, if you want to stay on top of our conversation, watch it before watching our show. And
so if you're listening to this through Anchor or as only an audio, we do have a YouTube channel. Silver Magic Studios, so go check that out. We don't just do podcasts, we play games, we do travel vlogs, and we obviously do this. If you're watching this on YouTube, go check out our other videos.
Check them out.
Like, share, subscribe.
Yes, like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our social media at Silver Magic Studios. Go onto our website, silvermagicstudios.ca. And that's it. Until next time.
Toodles.